Hi, and welcome to the Contrarian Code Interview Series. My name is Joe Campbell, and I'll be your host. For those of you who don't know, we seek out successful and inspiring people from all walks of life who exhibit the qualities of the Contrarian Code. Today I've got a special treat for you guys. We're going to be talking with Tanner Larsson. Tanner Larsson's entrepreneurial skills have led him to found and build several six-figure profitable businesses across 3 different industries. His success has allowed him to sell those companies and move into internet marketing and most recently into business consulting. He is the founder and creator of numerous products including Streak Free Profits and Cashing In on Christmas. He's a published author and co-creator of Residual Income Formula and Membership Revolution. And his newest product is called Amazon Publishing Formula. Welcome to the show, Tanner.
Thanks a lot, Joe. And thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Now, there are many people out there who know you, and obviously a lot of them own your products, but a lot of people don't exactly know where you came from or your story. Can you share your story with us?
Well, Joe, I'd love to wow you with one of those rags to riches stories, but that's just not the truth. I did have some major setbacks and problems along the way, but I was never destitute or out on the street. The fact is, I achieved my first business success relatively quickly, as right after high school I started a window cleaning business while going to college, and then I built that from the ground up and started doing pretty well. Now, later on, I started a Christmas light installation business that I used to fill in the slow time of year. Because of the heavy winters where I was, window cleaning was pretty much a 9-month out of the year deal, so it left 3 months of pretty much nothing. And the Christmas lighting filled in that slow holiday time with a high-profit, in-demand service that really only lasted about 60 days, so it was the perfect fill-in for me. I was fortunate to have stumbled into those industries when I did. However, I was definitely not any kind of prodigy or, wonder kid by any means. I made a lot of mistakes, and I failed a lot. And over the 5 or 6 years of running my company, I almost bankrupted my business at least 2 or 3 times. One of the times was so bad I had to talk my parents into co-signing on a $25,000 school loan just so I could bail my business out.
Wow, that's insane. What made you think of a student loan?
Well, after being denied by all the major banks and having a student's limit on my credit cards, my only real option was an education loan with my parents' help. Plus, the deferred payments were a pretty attractive option.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Now, this was not a real, high point in my life. As I was not only with my business failing, but my parents. I had to beg and plead with my parents to co-sign a loan that was not going towards my education. You can imagine how well that went over.
Yeah, you're lucky. My parents would have never even entertained that thought.
Well, yeah, it was touch and go there for a while. But right after that, I was getting back on my feet. I found out my, top crew chief and right-hand man had been embezzling quite a bit of money from me for almost $10,000 worth of cash. And because I did not have the proper financial controls in place, I had no idea what was going on. Talk about a wake-up call.
Oh my God.
And after pressing charges and all the legal stuff, I finally got my businesses back on track, and then things started really clicking for me. My window cleaning business was generating around $180,000, $200,000 a year. My Christmas light company was doing about $200,000 a year. So here I was grossing almost $400,000 per year. I was living the dream. A young kid, nice house, big cars, and I didn't think life could get any better.
Wow.
I was right.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I had a killer lifestyle going, but unfortunately it didn't last. Less than a year later, my business success came to a pretty abrupt and unforeseen end.
How did it end?
Well, pretty much I started going blind. Started losing my vision in my eye.
What?
Yeah.
You started going blind?
Exactly, yeah. I started going blind in my left eye. I lost over 50% of my vision in less than a year.
Oh, what caused that?
Well, it turns out that I had a degenerative eye disease called keratoconus, which causes a thinning of the cornea that results in continuously decreasing vision and then ultimately blindness. And the basic thing was that I either needed to have a cornea transplant or let myself go blind in my left eye. Now, needless to say, I opted for the transplant, where they actually cut the cornea off my eye and stitched on a donor cornea, which scared the hell out of me.
That's crazy, but how did that put an end to your business?
Well, the surgery went fine, no problems there. However, I couldn't work. And I was not allowed to pick up anything over 5 pounds for months, because anytime you pick something up or use your muscles, you actually double or triple the pressure that's exerted on your eye. So I could have popped one of the stitches or even caused a rejection of the cornea by doing anything strenuous. So, I couldn't even pick up a textbook, so I really couldn't do anything. And while I had a lot of guys working for me, I was still very active in the business. I would work with the crews, do the estimates, find new customers, and all the other stuff that goes along with owning the business. But I couldn't do any of that because of the transplant. Plus, my eye was so bloody, distended, and gross that nobody even wanted to look at me, much less work with me. And because of all this, I was forced to sell my business. Well, actually, I had to sell both of them because they were kind of tied together. And, I did okay selling the companies, but I made some money there, which was all right. But I'd overnight lost about a $400,000 a year income, which I was very, very used to having.
Wow.
And it was just gone.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, well, you can imagine the emotional roller coaster I was on. When it rains, it pours. And about a month after all that happened, my girlfriend at the time, who I'd been supporting for the past 3 years, graduated, got a job offer, and said, "Peace out." Clearly, she was a keeper.
Wow, the hits just keep on coming at that point, huh?
Yeah, and apparently I never learned how to dodge.
So you lost your business, you almost lost your vision, and you lost the girl.
Yeah, I sound like a country song, don't I?
A really bad one.
Yeah, very bad.
So how did you turn it all around?
Well, the short story was I needed to clear my head and kind of refresh my perspective on life and just everything in general.
Right.
So I reread a book called Leading an Inspired Life by Jim Rohn. And it really helped me get my focus back. But because my eye was still healing, I couldn't really do anything strenuous or anything, so I decided to try my hand at consulting. As I had a lot of business knowledge and skills that I thought would be useful to a number of business owners.
Sounds like a good way to learn from your past to create a new future.
Well, the idea was sound, but it didn't work out so good at first. When I found out that I was now a small fish in a big pond and that I was not very unique. I mean, there were lots of people out there who'd had successful businesses that were now consultants. Mm-hmm. And I had a hard time standing out from the competition.
Right. With
the exception of the fact that I was young, which, isn't always a benefit.
Yeah,
sometimes
definitely.
People think, you couldn't have the experience or couldn't possibly have the experience because of your age. And therefore, selling my consulting services at the beginning was a really tough sale, and I had a hard time getting clients for quite some time. But during this time, I also sold some information products and other, online business stuff, which helped me. The earnings of that helped me offset the lack of money I was making I wasn't making while my consulting business.
See, that's interesting to me to hear. For those who don't know, because for instance, I know now you have regular clients that are paying you $10,000 to $20,000 up front for your services, as well as hefty monthly service fees. Mm-hmm. So, what is it that turned your business around?
Well, it was about this time that I discovered the big secret, so to speak. And it was the people that were making all the money, getting all the consulting clients, and making all the sales. They were all published authors. They all had books out there that clearly established them as experts. And to the average Joe business owner, the sign of a published author was that the person was an expert, and they thought of them as experts, even if they never even read the book. Mm-hmm. So when I discovered all that, I was like, hey, I want my book. I want to be the author. I want to be the expert.
Right.
So I wrote a book. And did some research into the book publishing field and got my book published. And a few weeks later, I had it listed and for sale on Amazon.com.
So how long from start to finish did that take you?
Well, from start to finish, including writing the book, it took about a month, maybe a little bit less.
It only took you a month? That's incredible. And you managed to get everything, your book published and everything, with the biggest retailer in the world?
Yeah, I mean, Amazon's not exactly the biggest online retailer, but they're up there. But yeah, it's still kind of hard to believe, but the truth is that while researching on how to publish a book, I discovered some ways that you could bypass some of the traditional methods and really jump into the publishing world with both feet. And almost guaranteed that my book would be picked up by Amazon. It wasn't guaranteed, but it was pretty close.
Wow. So it obviously worked. How did this affect your consulting business?
Well, once my book was published, I immediately integrated my status as a published author into my marketing and everything, and then I had a book on sale. And I did that pretty haphazardly and quickly, and looking back, I could have done a much, much better job of integrating my efforts and, focusing what I was doing, but apparently it didn't matter much, because almost overnight, I started getting calls, and my target market was looking at me in a different light, and, I really had people coming to me asking me to help them just because I had a book published. So all of a sudden I must know something more, which I didn't. And it was crazy to me because, before I was having to hunt these people down, and now they're literally attacking me. They're coming to me saying, hey, let me give you some money so you can help me because you're an author. Like I know anything more because I'm an author, but whatever.
Yeah.
My income really exploded at that point too. I had clients coming to me, like I said, and I could start commanding those top dollar fees that, the $10,000, $20,000 up front and $1,000 to $2,000 per month.
Wow. So sounds like that's an insane return on your investment and your time.
Very, very nice.
And you think this is solely attributed to just your book being published?
Oh, absolutely. The book was the only variable in my marketing. I mean, the only thing that changed was that I had a book out there. I was the same guy, but now I'm credible, now I'm an expert in the eyes of potential clients. The other cool thing that was by publishing my book, I accidentally created a passive income that was completely unrelated to my consulting work.
What, really? What made that happen?
Okay, well, this is going to sound really bad because most people write a book because they want people to read it.
Right.
But when I wrote my book, I published it with the sole intention of building my credibility. I never even considered that my book might actually sell, but it did. It was about a month or two after my book was published that I started noticing direct deposits from Amazon, and I didn't know where the books were coming from, so I was like, well, okay, I got to figure this out. So I looked at my bank deposits, and it turns out people were actually buying my books.
Wow.
I had no idea.
Wow, that's been quite the surprise.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I certainly wasn't complaining, but it also made me curious. So I did, whatever any other self-respecting marketer would do, and I wrote a couple other books under pen names and in different niches to see if it was an isolated incident or if I could really make, publish books on Amazon and sell them and build an income out of that.
Mm-hmm. So, what were the results of your test?
Well, surprisingly enough, it actually worked. I honestly didn't think it was going to, but it did.
Yeah.
All of my books, I have about 7 of them out there now, and all of them are selling. Now, some of them are selling better than others, just like everything has its ups and downs.
Right.
But I really didn't do anything other than write the books and then publish them on Amazon.
So you are now making a passive income with no extra work.
Yeah, I'm doing nothing to make that money come in. Now, okay, I'm not saying that I'm making the tens of thousands of dollars per month doing this. Now, the potential's certainly there for that kind of earning, but that's not where I'm at. I'm not claiming that at all.
Now, traditional contrarians want to know, would you mind sharing with us how much money you're exactly making from that?
Sure. As it stands right now, I'm bringing in between $500 and $800 per month, completely on autopilot, just from the sales of my books on Amazon.
Well, even $500 a month is nothing to sneer at. Anybody would be happy with an extra $500 a month.
Yeah,
but do you think this is because you're a prodigy, or do you think this is something that anybody can do?
Okay, I'm borderline retarded. I would never consider myself a prodigy. But anybody who's willing to invest a little bit of time and effort can easily do what I've done or surpass what I've done. But like with anything, there is a process and there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. Just like anything.
Am I correct in assuming your Amazon publishing formula shows you the right way?
Thanks. Yeah, well, thank you for the plug, I guess.
Hey,
yeah,
my
new product, right? But yeah, Amazon Publishing Formula is a complete multimedia course, and it will take you by the hand and lead you through all the aspects of publishing a book on Amazon, earning the passive income, and all that jazz. However, I really can't get into that because, one, that's not why we're here, obviously, but two, the course hasn't been released to the public yet, even though it will be happening very, very, very soon.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it'll be a great course. I'm looking forward to it being released. But there was one other thing I was going to ask you. I heard you recently partnered up with a man named Mike Hirsch. What's the story there?
Now, Mike's a very talented copywriter who's living in Israel, and I hired him to do some copy work for me. Now, Mike is also a very talented affiliate marketer, and he makes some pretty good money on his own, but he was so excited about the power of publishing books for profit on Amazon that he wanted to get involved. And as it turns out, we had a lot in common and decided to partner up on several of our upcoming projects. And as you know, internet marketing is rapidly becoming a team sport. And Mike and I's skills, combined together, we make out as a pretty competent and talented team.
Well, excellent. That sounds like a good fit for both of you.
Seems to be working out.
Good, good. Well, I hope to hear more, and I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, Tanner. I want to thank you again for taking your time to come sit with us and meet with us on the Contrarian Code. And hopefully we can have you back in the future.
It's my pleasure, Joe. I had a good time. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. Well, that about wraps it up, everybody. Thank you again to Tanner and everyone who subscribes to the Contrarian Code. Stay tuned and look in your email inbox for more interviews to come with dynamic people like Tanner. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.
So when do I actually get my copy of the book?
Well, as soon as it's published.